Hi, welcome back to the second part of the Victoria Wood Archive tour. In this second part of the tour, we're going to take a look at Victoria's career from her sellout one-woman shows at the Royal Albert Hall to how she became a writer of sitcoms and a director. Oh, and by the way, this is a Victoria Wood statue which was erected just a few years ago, and it's really quite touching because quite often we find bunches of flowers that our fans have laid at its feet. Victoria's comedy was so relatable. In her stand-up routine, she talked about exercise, weight loss, perfume counters, motherhood, and she had a really keen eye for the ridiculous in how people acted and reacted to things. She performed at the Royal Albert Hall 47 times, and she did 15 sellout shows in '93 and again in '96. And her final tour, At It Again, in 2001, she had 12 sellout nights. Here you can see photos of Hallé Bailey, the step aerobics teacher. Victoria is embracing physical comedy with this character, and she shows her expert timing and tone, which builds up the tension, and then right at the end, the shock reveal of who Hallé really is. In 1998, Victoria turned her hand to writing a sitcom called Dinner Ladies. There were 2 series with 16 episodes in total, and she wrote the first one within the space of about 6 weeks. Just prior to writing the show, she did a little bit of research, and she came to a factory in Whitefield in Bury because they had a working kitchen. So she liked to sort of sit and watch the staff and see how they used the kitchen, because she wanted that on set when they came to film Dinner Ladies. And here you see a nice example of Victoria's working technique. She was well known for reworking her scripts, and quite often the actors would be sent a script, they'd go away and they'd learn it, and then they'd turn up to set that morning and she would have reworked it and completely changed it. But they went with it because they trusted her and they knew that whatever changes she made would be for the better. A big part of Victoria's creative process was to do lots of research before she began writing. And in the case of Housewife 49, she actually went to Barrow-in-Furness to Nella Last's house and to the Women's Institute, which Nella went to, just so she could get a sense of the life that she would have led. Also, with the song Let's Do It, we've got 3 versions here in the archive. And you can see her reworking and reworking it. And here she's changed it from Let's Do It to Barry and Frida, and it eventually became the Ballad of Barry and Frida. And she would rework this song depending on where she was performing it. Victoria then decided to turn her hand to writing a musical called Acorn Antiques, which was based on the sketch that appeared on her show As Seen on TV. It opened at the Haymarket Theatre in London, and it was directed by Trevor Nunn. And then she decided to rework it again, and in 2007 it opened at the Lowry Theatre, Manchester. In 2008, Victoria was given the chance to direct for Sky TV, and she wrote a short film called The Giddy Kipper, which tells the story of Eunice, an 8-year-old girl who's in search of the Christmas spirit. In the film Eric and Ernie, Victoria was given the opportunity to do some acting, and she played Eric's mum, Sadie Bartholomew. As you can see from the clapperboard here, its working title was Morecambe and Wise. In 2011, Victoria was commissioned by Manchester International Festival to write a musical, and that musical was That Day We Sang. Now, as you can see from this working book in the archive, it was originally called Tubby and Enid. Now, the musical is based on a story about a children's choir that recorded a song called Nymphs and Shepherds at the Free Trade Hall in Manchester in the early part of the 20th century. And Victoria was intrigued by this happening and thought, what would happen if those children met again later in life? And then you've got the characters of Tubby and Enid coming through, and she tells the story of the 2 characters meeting once again and rekindling not only their relationship but their love of music once again. In 2015, Victoria took part in the celebrity version of the Great British Bake Off for comic relief. She was crowned Star Baker in her episode. In the same year, she co-starred with Timothy Spall in Sky TV's adaptation of Fungus and the Bogeyman, her final acting role. I hope you've enjoyed the tour of this Victoria Wood archive and got a little bit of insight into how Victoria worked and how creative she was. And I hope through this archive you've managed to reconnect with her once again.